Coming up tonight on Panther Sports, we take a look into the world of cross country and have a talk with star men's soccer player Shane Malcolm. All this and more coming up on Panther Sports.
Welcome into Panther Sports. I'm Pat Stein. Let's get things started off right away with the weekly roundup.
This past week in the weekly roundup, the High Point University volleyball team hosted the High Point Classic tournament, starting their week playing George Mason on Friday. After a slow start, losing the first two sets, High Point would come back to win the match 3-2. On Saturday, the High Point Classic tournament would continue with a doubleheader in Millis. In the first match of the day, the Lady Panthers played Loyola Marymount. After falling behind two sets quickly, the Panthers would be unable to rally and would eventually fall in the fourth match, losing to Loyola Marymount 3-1. That night, the Lady Panthers would take on Virginia Tech in the last match of the High Point Classic tournament. Freshman Anne-Marie Chin had a career-high game with 23 digs, leading the Panthers to a 3-1 victory over Virginia Tech, making it their second win over an ACC team this season. Anne-Marie Chin went on to win tournament MVP for her performance in the game, and sophomore Chelsea Davis was named to the all-tournament team. On Tuesday, volleyball started its first of 6 road games at triad rival Elon. Senior Courtney Junk played outstanding, leading High Point to a 3-1 victory, hitting 708. The Lady Panther volleyball team is 8-4 on the season after the win. Their road trip continues this weekend as they travel to Davidson to play the Wild Classic. Their first game is Friday at 7 against Davidson. High Point women's soccer traveled to East Carolina last Thursday. After going down 2-0 early, the HPU Soccer girls were only able to get one goal back when striker Becca Leeson put one past the East Carolina goalkeeper in the 67th minute, but would end up losing the game 2-1. On Sunday, the girls soccer team were on the road against UNCG. The game was a defensive battle for most of the game, until the 67th minute when the UNCG Spartans finally got one past High Point goalie Jessie May. The game would end 1-0 in favor of UNCG, bringing High Point women's soccer team to a 1-3-3 record. The Panthers' next match is home at Vert Stadium on September 14th against Elon. Men's golf started its season in the 28th annual Reigns Development Group Intercollegiate Tournament. Senior Chase Wilson shot the team low of a 73, but the team came up short, coming in 15th out of the 16 teams that participated in the event. The next tournament of the season starts on the 24th of September in Williamsburg, VA at the Joe Aggie Invitational, hosted by William and Mary.
Three of High Point's own are riding high after earning top honors from the Big South. Anne-Marie Chin, Chelsea Davis, and Shane Malcolm were all named Conference Players of the Week in their respective sports. Freshman libero Anne-Marie Chin clinched the Defensive Player of the Week title in volleyball. Chin set a career high with 23 digs in HPU's win over Virginia Tech to close out the HPU Classic volleyball tournament. She had 8 assists and 2 aces for the week. Chin was also dubbed the MVP of the tournament. Sophomore outside hitter Chelsea Davis also set career highs in kills and sets to secure the title of Big South Player of the Week. Davis churned out double-digit kills for all games and made her 5th double-double of the season. She was named the HPU Classic All-Tournament Team for her achievements. Last but not least, senior Shane Malcolm was named the Offensive Player of the Week last week. The midfielder registered 2 goals and 2 assists in all of HPU's victories in the Flash Gordon Motors Invitational. Malcolm was the first HPU player to earn Big South honors in 2012. This is also his first Player of the Week award. Later on, Shane Malcolm will sit down to talk with us about his accomplishments on and off the field. September marks the 3rd month since the 40th anniversary of Title IX, which banned sex discriminations in federally funded schools and colleges. The Big South Conference plans to celebrate this landmark legislation by showing the impact the title has had over the years. These segments will highlight achievements and historical events in the conference's women's athletic programs. Check out the information on BigSouthSports.com and be on the lookout for this month's feature facts. All you Charlotte Bobcat fans out there might want to clear out your schedules for the near future. The Bobcats will host their 2012 training camp on the campus of UNC Asheville next month. The camp will run the week of October 2nd and end October 6th. UNC Asheville's Kimmel Arena is less than a year old and seats over 3,200 fans for basketball games. For the first time in conference history, men's basketball and baseball will be split into two divisions. The 6-team divisions, North and South, will determine the top seeds in the basketball championship. HPU joins the North Division with Radford, VMI, Longwood, Liberty, and Campbell. The process to decide the 8 championship baseball teams is still being finalized. Coming up, we talk with Shane Malcolm about his time playing soccer at High Point University. Don't go away.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 88 children is diagnosed with autism. That's a 1,000% increase in the last 40 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Welcome back to Panther Sports. Sitting to my right here, we have senior midfielder Shane Malcolm. Thank you so much for coming on Panther Sports.
How are you, Pat? I'm good.
Now,
Thank you.
before we go into your soccer playing, you have a rapping career, per se. Tell us a little bit about how you got into that.
My rapping career. I like to call it making music, but it's something that I've been doing for a really long time. I mean, a bunch of friends of mine done it. We did it growing up, and it's just been something that we stuck to. So it's been fun, and I keep doing it because it's fun. I like doing it, and people keep listening, so why not keep doing it?
Now, you do that right here in the Nito Arcubain School of Communications. Tell us a little bit about the equipment that they have there and like the quality of it and how you like working with it.
It's a really nice studio upstairs in the HD recording studio. Really good selection of microphones to choose from, and the control boards. I do a lot of mixing myself, and sometimes I send it off to a friend of mine who's a producer down in Miami, and he does more of the mixing. So it's really good equipment. It's usable. Like the Pro Tools there is nice. Everything's good.
Awesome, good stuff. Now let's go a little bit into soccer. High Point University soccer team this year, undefeated.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It feels good. Anytime you say undefeated, it always feels good.
How hard do you have to work to get to, not only to get to that level, but maintain that level of, intensity and quality on the field?
It actually starts when we're in the off season, like in the spring we work hard, we have a goal at the end of the year. Every year we set a goal, and this year it's to make it to the NCAA tournament. It's not just to win the Big South, it's to go deep into the tournament also. We know we're capable of doing it. We beat a lot of good teams this spring. We beat JMU, we beat Clemson, so we're just looking for that to fall over, and it's been doing so pretty well this fall.
Wow, that's a couple of good teams that you just mentioned off right there. Now, how are you doing individually? We mentioned that you were the Big South Conference Player of the Week last week.
Yeah.
Very, very good honor for you.
Thank you.
How does that feel to get something like that and be recognized on a conference-wide level?
To me personally, it felt really good. It's the first time I've been recognized in 4 years of being here. And to me, it was kind of like a weight off my shoulders. It was finally but at the same time, I was really grateful because I worked hard for it.
Right.
So I could say I've been training a lot harder, and the experiences I've gotten playing with different teams in the summer and stuff, has helped me develop. So that also helped towards.
Well, we'll talk about the summer teams in a minute, but you mentioned the team's goal, go to the NCAAs.
Yes.
What's your personal goal? Do you have any personal milestones, achievements, or so forth?
For my personal self or for the team?
Yeah, for yourself. Oh, and for the team.
Our personal self, I want it to be my breakout year, so to speak, and I want it to be a year where I've beat all my records before here at High Point, because it's your senior year, you got to do it big your senior year and whatnot. And as for our team, I really believe our team's a bunch of talented people. We have really talented players on our team, and playing against and with other players that I've seen so far in the college level, I think our team has a really good chance of going really far in the tournament.
Great. Now getting back to the summer team, like you mentioned before, you played with the Carolina Dynamo. Explain a little bit about the Premier Development League that the Dynamo is in.
The PDL League's, I'd say, about 72 teams all across the United States, and with the Carolina Dynamo, it's usually one of the top teams almost every year. They make the playoffs almost every year. And last summer was the first time they've ever been to the national championship.
Oh, wow.
And that was really good, and it was really good to be a part of that. A bunch of the players are, like a lot of the players are going to be in the MLS mock draft next year. They're going to be in the draft. There are a bunch of young players, a bunch of older players, veterans on the team, and it was just a good experience.
Talk a little bit about some of your personal experiences on the Dynamo and how you're trying to translate them over to your senior leadership role at High Point University.
Some of my experiences on the Dynamo, I started off playing right defense for the Dynamo, and usually I'd say when I play at a higher level, I would like to play right defense.
Okay.
And, I attack a lot from the back, and they gave me experience playing back there. And so when High Point, we're in a really defensive mode. Sometimes I play right back for our school, so it really helps out.
All right. Now, before we wrap up, I do have one question. I heard that you basically wear the rainbow on your feet. Like you have the most ridiculous colored shoes in your wardrobe. How do you find these shoes?
I mean, I like to stand out,
Yeah?
At the same time, I really like shoes. I like collecting shoes too. So, I don't know. I look for cleats that make you stand out, and when I'm not wearing like really bright cleats, my friends will be like, I'm so mad you weren't wearing your shoes today because like it wasn't easy to find you on the pitch. So it was like.
Do random people just come up to you on the streets like, oh wow, nice shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Usually.
All the time?
Most of the time.
All right. Now, before we get you out of here, one last final question. Now, we talked about your rapping career, or making music, as you say.
Yeah.
We talked about you as a soccer player. We talked about your shoes. When you leave High Point University this year, what do you want to do, and what do you want to leave High Point University as? Like, what do you want to be remembered by here on campus?
I guess the kid that always was himself. I want to be the kid, or known or remembered as that person who wasn't afraid to be himself. And that's my message to everyone: to be yourself and do whatever makes you happy.
All right, well, very well. Thank you again for coming on Panther Sports. It was great interviewing you.
Thank you, Pat.
And coming up next on Panther Sports, we have a story about the women's cross country team and how they were picked #1 in the Big South Conference. Don't go away.
Packers. Vikings. Packers. Vikings. Vikings.
Red state, blue state, vegan,
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
downtown.
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live.
our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
Next on Panther Sports, we have a story about the women's cross country team and how they were picked #1 in the Big South Conference.
In the 2011-2012 season, the women's cross country team climbed a feat no other women's cross country team has done before in High Point University. They won the Big South Conference Championship, and as senior Kelsey Hunt explains, it's a very big deal.
Well, making history is kind of a big deal, especially since we were just all such good friends last year, and I think that had a lot to do with it.
After such a big win for the team, one can only expect them to be even better this season, and some major groups agree. This year, the women's cross-country team has been picked #1 in the Big South Conference, and it's no surprise to anyone. With that added pressure to perform, does it make it harder for the team? I asked junior Kaylee Perry about being the Big South champions, and does that motivate her to perform?
I feel like we do, like not just me personally, but collectively as a whole. Like we know we have this target on our back, so we know we're gonna have to work harder just to be able to go in confidently like we did last year. Because last year there was a huge sense of confidence going in, like, oh yeah, we got this. So we're just working hard to keep that confidence with us.
With the Big South Championship under their belt and having 4 of their top 5 runners returning this year, you would think that this team would be set with its runners, but this year they have added 8 freshmen to the team to help defend their title. One of those freshmen is Erica Peoples, and I asked her how much harder she has to work since she is on a championship-winning team.
I don't think so. Like I said, just I know that the girls are going to do a great job of bringing us freshmen together with them.
With some of the top runners graduating after this season, becoming seniors, or just starting out on the team, I wanted to know where they see the women's cross-country team going in the future.
The one thing I've learned since I've been here the last 4 years is you really have to enjoy and love the sport while you're participating. That makes a huge difference in how well you're going to train and also how well you're going to get along with your teammates.
I see us keep stepping up each year with improvements. So this year, next year, Big South champions again, improving in the regional meet and just heading towards a national team.
The 2012-2013 season is huge for the women's cross-country team because not only are they going out there to compete, they're going out there to defend their title as Big South champions.
Coming up, we talk to our student athletes that come from overseas. Do not miss this next segment of Panther Sports.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up with that, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to Panther Sports. Well, being a student athlete isn't easy, but what about players that come from overseas? Austin Ford sits down and talks with some international Panthers.
Jose Brake may seem like your average student athlete, but I have a conversation with her and I'll quickly notice that she's not from around here.
How often do people ask you about your accent?
People don't stop asking me about my accent. It is ridiculous. That is the first question everyone asks me.
Brake comes to HPU from Farnham in the United Kingdom and is one of 15 international student athletes on the campus of High Point University. Branimir Mikulic is yet another international Panther. He came to America from Croatia when he wanted to play basketball while also earning his college degree.
So after my senior year in high school, I had to decide, do I want to go and play basketball professionally or do I want to go to college? So I didn't want to quit playing basketball, but also I didn't want to quit school.
Branimir attended Santa Fe College in Florida before transferring to High Point, which he says made his transition to America a little bit easier.
Was that your first time away from home, from Croatia, coming here to America?
Yes, that was my first time. It was really, really tough. I didn't know nobody, but kind of like coach helped me a lot. My teammates helped me a lot, and I'm really thankful for that.
Jose had her own adjustments to make with her transition to America.
I heard that y'all don't wear face masks in England, is that right?
No, we don't wear them. So
wow.
When I came here, it was a complete shock. I couldn't see, I couldn't catch, I couldn't throw, I couldn't do anything. Yeah. So I practiced so hard just to become accustomed to them, and now I'm fine, but at the start it was definitely hard.
Despite the challenges that come with being in an unfamiliar country, both athletes have been able to handle the challenge in their own unique ways.
I found it so hard to get my work done as well as play sports, but now I think I'm more experienced and wise, and I've come to learn how to manage it better.
I think the most important thing is to have a great communication with everybody, just to ask for questions, ask if you have an issue or something is bothering you. So I think that's the main thing.
Thank you for watching, and be sure to tune in next week.